We are live on the Take That Sportscast. Wow. Okay, so good. It works. It scared me a bit yesterday when it didn't work, but here we are live on the Take That Sportscast. Let me just share it on our social medias here. And we got a lot to discuss here on the Take That Sportscast. I am going to start with some late breaking news that I just saw across my desk. Breaking news. This is from Amy Dash of uh, CBS and Fox Sports Radio. Tony Busby, the lawyer who is investigating, or the lawyer who brought the lawsuits of sexual harassment against Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson, is now claiming that the FBI is now investigating Deshaun Watson. So he is the Houston-based attorney. He represents the nearly 24 women who have accused Watson of various forms of harassment and assault. Said FBI agents in the Houston Field Division visited him in his office, and he has since met with them multiple times. This was Friday. He spoke to Dash by phone, but the story just broke today, Tuesday, August 17th. It's 8:18 Eastern time. When someone comes into your office on the 73rd floor of the Chase Tower, whether the FDA or FBI, it's a big deal. FBI, Busby said, driving the first time, the FBI have allegedly visited him to discuss Watson. They contacted me, and I've met with them 3 times now, and they've met with several of the plaintiffs in this case. Busby claims the agents told him they had seen all of the statements that had been given to the police department and found them, quote, very compelling and very persuasive. Busby then went on to say, and then these guys came to my office, and I'm like, hey, boys, why do you care about this? Again, this could be why Deshaun Watson has been out of practice the last few days. Obviously, he showed up to practice last week, and then he came back and is now apparently, if these claims by Houston-based attorney Tony Busby, the one who has brought these women, these accusers forward, and who are now suing Deshaun Watson, if this is true, this could be a huge turning point in this case, which is kind of, it kind of simmered in the last few months, and now this is a huge, huge deal if these claims are true. Now, some people aren't very trusting of Tony Busby. There have been times where he's been called kind of a shyster, somebody who kind of plays up stories. But obviously, this was a serious. He brought all these women forward, some serious accusations, and now Deshaun Watson. Breaking news. This came out at 3:16 p.m. An exclusive interview with Tony Busby, and he is bringing on again this very interesting development in this case. So again, this just came in and is kind of the big story right now that is trending. Deshaun Watson reportedly being investigated by the FBI. This again, Amy Dash, CBS Fox Sports Radio, in an exclusive interview with Tony Busby. This are the claims that he has made. He is now saying, and if this is to believe, which it'd be a pretty big lie to say, okay, the FBI came and met with me and they're saying they're investigating Watson, for it to turn out to be false. I mean, that could end someone's career if they're making something like that up. So, and again, it may explain why Watson, he missed the first couple of days of practice, then he came in, you had the little spat with the media, and now he's gone. This could explain a lot, and it's really interesting to see. Um, Obviously, uh, innocent till proven guilty. I can't stress this enough that Deshaun Watson, I don't even think is charged with anything, let alone obviously he hasn't been convicted of anything. But it does seem quite suspicious. If it's one or two people, you can kind of see how stories could be made up. But when it's 23, 24, 22 or 23 lawsuits, it's very hard, all those people, if they're lying, to keep their stories straight. So again, it does not look good for Deshaun Watson. And if the FBI is involved, as has been claimed, this could be a very, very serious situation for Deshaun Watson. And it also throws a bit of a wrench in the Texans' plans. I mean, I think the assumption was that Watson may miss time, whether from a league suspension, but now potential legal trouble for Deshaun Watson. Again, this is late breaking. And with the 49ers releasing Josh Rosen, his fifth team being cut, perhaps Josh Rosen may find a job sooner rather than later. Obviously, you probably would want it to be under a bit better circumstance, but you take what you get. Let's go into baseball, and I want to discuss the San Diego Padres and the team that at one point was the most fun team to watch in the last 2 weeks. Let's be honest, have been not fun to watch. The San Diego Padres, what has happened to a team that a lot of people were considering World Series contenders and now are in danger of missing the playoffs? Just a game and a half lead on the Cincinnati Reds, and the Reds have a much easier schedule coming up. I think they play the Pirates 15 more times in the next month. And the Pirates are obviously the worst team in baseball, but the Padres have had their chances against bad teams. You lose 2 out of 3 to you take 2 out of 3 from Arizona last weekend. Then you come in and you lose 2 out of 3 to Miami. Or sorry, you take 2 out of 3 from Miami, but then you lose that final game 7-0. Then you get 3 out of 4 games taken from you by the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're no hit by a pitcher making his debut, his starting debut on Saturday night. Tatis comes back, powers you to the win to salvage a game in the series finale on Sunday. And then yesterday, down 5-2 in the ninth, you tie the game in the top of the ninth with Trent Grisham's 3-run home run, only to lose on a walk-off home run. The pitching is not good. Had a chance to pick up Max Scherzer at the deadline. That falls through. Scherzer ends up on your hated rival, the Dodgers. The Giants improve. The Padres, let's be frank, did not improve at the deadline. Frazier is a nice get. Makes your feel a bit better. You can also be flexible moving Tatis out into the outfield with the injury, so that was a decent move. But Marisnik, we were expecting at the very least 1-star pitcher. Maybe not even Scherzer, but Scherzer has, the chance. And, whether or not, sometimes these stories are leaked. The Padres were apparently this close to getting him. You had John Heyman tweeting out the story. You had, or sorry, not John Heyman, but Ken Rosenthal tweeting out the story that the Padres had made the move. Dennis Lin of The Athletic, who covers the Padres for The Athletic, basically saying it's a done deal. And then hours later, we find out, no, it's not. Obviously, this is a little bit of old news happening back at the end of July, but it's really been frustrating for the Padres. And then I went to that game. I was in San Diego for the game that night on the deadline day where Tatis gets injured and we lose to the Rockies. And then we lose 2 out of 3 to the Rockies. The pitching stinks. Darvish is going to be on the IL. We're unsure when we're going to get Dinelson Lamet back, hopefully soon. And what is Ryan Weathers doing starting games? He has been absolutely terrible over the last month. Absolutely horrendous pitching from Ryan Weathers. It has not been pretty for the San Diego Padres. And again, this is on AJ Preller. You got to make those moves. You have got to make those moves at the deadline. You have to, when you have a chance to make a move like that, you have to. Uh, and then, okay, you miss on Scherzer. Have a backup plan. Jose Barrios. Uh, get somebody to improve your pitching. And we didn't, and it's biting us in the butt. Let's be honest. Snell has been a disappointment for much of this year. He's had some flashes. He's been good. I mean, he's Blake Snell. He's a Cy Young candidate, but he has been disappointed. Darvish has had his moments, but now he's hurt. Um, and everyone else, you wish you didn't have to lose Lamet. Paddock has been hurt, and he was disappointing. After the great start that Joe Musgrove had, obviously with the no-hitter and some of his great performances, he's had some shaky moments. He's probably been our best pitcher, Joe Musgrove, to be honest. And outside of Joe Musgrove, it has been very disappointing for the San Diego Padres pitching-wise. And again, I do not get why Ryan Weathers has started as many games as he has. At this point, why not bring up Mackenzie Gore? I think he has to be better than Ryan Weathers, because Ryan Weathers has been absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. And I mean, no disrespect to the man, but he's been absolutely terrible pitching. I was at that game where he started against the Rockies and gives up a grand slam in the first inning, gives up 8 runs. 8 runs. And then he does it again against Arizona. And then he gives up 5 runs last night in Colorado. And that seemed like a good performance. Giving up 5 runs seemed like a good performance. Listen, we are not competitive right now. When Tatis was injured, we really lost our fire. He brought it back for the one game, but we have lost our fire. We're not the swag team that we used to be. We're not the team that's out there, never say die. Even in July, remember against the Nationals, down 8-0, and then you come all the way back and win a game. We're missing that now. We're missing that punch that you need. Last season was a sprint, 60 games. So you could keep that energy up throughout the year. But in a 162 game season, it's hard. They're called the dog days for a reason. We're right in the dog days right now, August 17th. And let's be honest, we have not been good. We have been disappointing. Obviously, the Giants have been great. The Dodgers have been great. And we've beaten the Dodgers when we played them. But I don't think we're going to beat them now. Like when we played them earlier in the season, last time we played the Dodgers, we swept them in San Diego. But we have to beat the Colorado Rockies. We have to beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. We have to beat the Miami Marlins. That's what separates the great teams from the good teams. Yeah, it's easy to bring it against the Dodgers, that team you hate. But bring at least half the passion that you have against these Dodgers against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bring at least half of that effort against the Colorado Rockies. These teams are terrible. The Rockies have traded everybody. They are not competitive. The Diamondbacks are worse. What is going on, San Diego? We are in danger of missing the playoffs from off-season champions, and that's why the off-season champions title means nothing. It means nothing. What matters is when you're holding up that trophy, the commissioner's trophy, at the end of the season. The Padres have not been good. And again, it frustrates me to watch this team now. Grounding into way too many double plays. Outside of Tatis and Machado, Hosmer's been decent, but he grounds out way too much. Will Myers, not the same player he was a couple of years ago. Pham, he's good. Honestly, I'd start Pham. Grisham's a great fielder. His bat isn't all that. I honestly like Carantini better than Nola. I know we brought Nola in the offseason. Carantini's better. I think he's a better defensive catcher. I think, honestly, he's a better hitter than Nola. Frazier's a good pickup. But again, this team, and Cronenworth's been an all-star second baseman. We have the talent. We have a good lineup. On paper, we have good pitching, especially our first two. If Darvish can get back healthy with Snell, if Snell can figure it out with Paddock, Paddock can get back healthy, Musgrove, we have a good pitching staff, or at least our first four pitchers. And our relief, well, you know what? I don't blame our bullpen all that much because in the first half of the season, they were the most used bullpen in the majors. So I do not blame the bullpen that much for our recent struggles and giving up some of these walk-offs. Like our bullpen did great last night up until CJ Cron hit that walk-off. We had not allowed a run. And, but I don't blame the bullpen necessarily because the bullpen's been overused. Because the starting pitchers, guys like Snell, who should be going 6 or 7 innings, have been going 4 or 5, and that's taxing on your pen. And at this point, they're tired. Like, I don't blame the pen at all. But I blame Prowler. And listen, I've been a big proponent of A.J. Prowler. I've liked a lot of the moves Prowler has made. Obviously, the biggest and best was 2015, trading James Shields for Fernando Tatis Jr., then a prospect. One of the biggest steals in baseball history when we get the face of baseball. But that face of baseball isn't going to be much of a face of baseball if you're not winning. Look at Mike Trout. Like, Trout, I know he's been hurt this year, but part of the reason he's never become that big star on the entire sports scene, like a LeBron, like a Tom Brady, it's not just because people don't care about baseball. I think people do care about baseball. It's because he's on a team that stinks. And I fear the same thing's going to happen with Shohei Ohtani. Like, I think Ohtani obviously has the advantage. He pitches and he hits. But eventually, people care about what you do in October. Great. Your team's, you're doing things in June, July, August. And that might help you get you to October. But what are you doing in October? And the Padres might not even be playing meaningful baseball in October. They might not even be playing, and again, the Giants have played out of their minds. 73 wins and all. They have gotten veteran players that have played out of their minds. And the Dodgers have been just as good as we thought, even with all of the drama. We talked about Deshaun Watson earlier in the show with the Texans. Trevor Bauer himself is facing all these accusations. Clayton Kershaw has been hurt. And yet the Dodgers have muscled through it and they look like they could repeat. And you don't think they have motivation? Yeah, they won that World Series, but everyone's poo-pooing it. Mickey Mouse ring, doesn't count, 60-game season. They want to win a 162-game World Series. They want to play. They're probably going to play the Astros, to be honest, in the series if things keep going. The Astros have been great. They want to get revenge. You don't think revenge is a big factor for them? The Padres, listen. They have time to turn it around, but not much time. It's August 17th. So there's about a month and a half of the season left. You look at a team like the 2019 Nationals. They turned it around. But it has to start tonight. 8:40 Eastern. So in 5 minutes, they are going to first pitch against Colorado. I want to see this team win. Win this series. Take the next 2 games of this series. Then you got the Giants, or then you got the Phillies, a team that took 2 out of 3 from you. And I went to one of those games in Philly, where we were walked off on back on July 2nd. You got to take it to the Phillies. The Reds are gonna win their games. They're playing the Pirates. They're not you. They don't lose to the bad teams. They're gonna go out there. They're gonna win. So again, Padres, get your act together. Get your act together. And that is my game of the week, actually. My must-watch of the week will be the San Diego Padres, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, the NL East leaders versus the team that's currently clinging to the second wild card spot. That is going to be a series that I think is going to determine a lot. And, Cincinnati this weekend, they are playing Miami. So not even play. Listen, Cincinnati's probably going to take 2 out of 3. Home game against the Miami Marlins, they should take 2 out of 3. I wouldn't even be surprised if they sweep them. Padres have a much tougher test against the Phillies. The Phillies have been a pretty good ball club over the last month and a half. So take your games against the teams you can win against. And we haven't done that. And if we end up on the outside looking in October, you blame them for losing to the Diamondbacks. You blame them. But again, it's baseball. Yeah, things happen. You might have a bad series here and there. But this has been repeated Repeated bad series. It does not look good. It does not look good. And I'm a Padres fan. And again, there have been times this season where I've said this is the most fun team in baseball. They have the swag chain. They have Tatis, Machado, Cronenworth. On paper, they should be better. They've had these moments. It's been a year ago. Year ago today was the legend of Slam Diego started. Tatis hits that first grand slam, and then they grand slam in 5 minutes. Maybe that year anniversary, maybe we get that magic back. But we need it. We need it. Step it up. Step it up. And if things don't happen, honestly, Tingler has to go. And I hate to say it, but Preller may have to go too. But first, Tingler. I don't think he's that good of a manager. Honestly, and I mean, maybe it's a joke, but why not bring Bochy back for a year? Like, competitive windows don't last very long. You might think they last 6, 7, 8 years. Very rarely do they do. Football, the Patriots, they honestly, in the Patriots, not trying to get off topic, and it's a different sport, but they had a kind of a 5-year window at the early 2000s and a 5-year window at the end of the 2010s. Warriors, basketball, people said, oh, they're going to be dominant and great for many years. 4 or 5 years later, now the Warriors are one of the worst teams and having to rebuild. Like, things change quickly in sports. Injuries happen. Guys get old. The Cubs, look at the Cubs. They win in 2016. People are talking dynasty in Chicago. And now Chicago has blown everything up with just the one World Series win. And you feel this. Obviously, Cubs fans will cherish that moment forever. That historically great Game 7 against Cleveland. Finally getting the curse of the Billy Goat off. And they won't trade it for anything. But as a Cubs fan, you're disappointed tonight. And you were disappointed in late July because you got rid of your star players, these players that led you to that promised land 108 years in the making. So with the Padres, honestly, if they don't turn things around, Tingler has got to go. And we have to find someone who can light the fire in these guys. Get that passion going. Figure out the pitching staff. We're gonna be better pitching next year, I think. Because we're gonna get Clevenger back next year. But the San Diego Padres, 1 year since Slam Diego, and it ain't as fun. It ain't as fun. We can't be losing to the Rockies. We can't be losing to the Diamondbacks. These are teams you should beat. We're only one game above 500 against sub 500 teams. I think we're 19 and 18 against sub 500 teams. That is absolutely ridiculous. And if we miss the playoffs, which very well might be happening, and I'm emotionally preparing myself for that to happen, and I hope it doesn't. I hope we figure it out. Whether we need a players-only meeting, whether we, maybe getting Tatis back in the groove will help things. But we need to improve. We need to improve. So, yeah, that's my watch of the week. My watch of the week. This year, 2 series, actually, that are must-watches this week for that second wild card in the National League. Phillies at Padres, 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Reds and Marlins, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. Those are going to be important series for this wild card race. And honestly, I'd much rather be playing the Marlins than the Phillies. But maybe, who knows, maybe playing a good team will actually get this team going. Unlike playing those bad teams where we just don't have the passion, where we just, for some reason, Ryan Weathers decides to implode. We get no hit by a rookie quarterback making his debut. We get walked off on a couple of times. Maybe playing a good team will get this team going. But if it doesn't, it will be a bigger disappointment in 2015. We have the face of baseball. We have Fernando Tatis Jr. And he has played out of his mind when healthy. He has played out of his mind, making all sorts of history. Let's not waste his career, because that's the danger you have. And it may be going a little overboard, but you know what? Your competitive window, it closes a lot faster on you than people think. You really, in sports, have 3 or 4 years to win when you have a group like this together. It isn't 6, 7. It's certainly not 10 years. It's 3 or 4 years where, listen, this is our chance, and we're wasting one of them. If we miss the playoffs, even if we make it in, I don't see this team as presently constructed, as presently playing, doing anything. You got it. I mean, again, it's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating to me. Very frustrating. Again, I am disappointed in the Padres. And I'm a lifelong San Diego Padres supporter. I have been through the thick and, to be honest, mostly thin rosters where our best player was like Will Venable. No disrespect to Will Venable. I liked him a lot. But it's a lot more fun these days, at least this earlier in this season. But it's almost like you get that taste of success and then it's taken away from you and you're disappointed and you're frustrated. And, it's like, we're a great team. And we're, 14 games above 500, but that doesn't do you any good. That doesn't do you any good if you're losing series and games that you should win. If you're getting embarrassed, frankly embarrassed by, again, 162 games, you're going to have a bad series here. You're going to have a bad game here and there. But you should be winning these series and these games because the road's going to get a lot tougher over the next few weeks and over the next month because we have a lot more games against the Giants. We have a few more against the Dodgers. We have games against like the teams like the Phillies. It's going to get a whole lot tougher for the San Diego Padres. So here's hoping they can turn it around. But if not, Tingler has to go. Tingler has to go. And maybe even Prowler, and I hate to say it because I've been a big time Prowler guy. I've liked a lot of the moves he's made. Some of the moves you scratch your head at. Hosmer, 8 years to, the 8 years, what, 296 mil that we paid him. Maybe theoretically you say, well, that's what got Machado there, but I think what got Machado there was 10 years, 300 mil, more than the fact that his close friend or a friend of his is on the team. Maybe, but again, we could have gotten Hosmer for a lot cheaper than 8 years, 296 mil. A lot cheaper. Let's be honest. For a league average first baseman. At best, he's a little bit above league average. He's a decent fielder. He's at times a good hitter, but more often than not, just a decent hitter. And again, if Hosmer somehow watches this, hey, maybe this lights a fire under you, man. Maybe this lights a fire under these Padres. I know I'm just a guy sitting in my room, yelling about this team. But again, it's because it's like, you guys earlier in the year, must watch TV. Every Padres game was must watch TV. I would stay up late, get first pitch 10:10 Eastern time with my MLB TV app and be watching the games until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because they were fun to watch. Now, you know what? Why waste my sleep? I'm missing this team embarrassing themselves. So here's hoping we can turn it around. But again, those are our two big things we covered. Sean Watson's story, that's kind of a big one. And then the Padres, disappointment. Both are disappointments, let's be honest. But that's it. So thank you people for watching. I know I saw a couple of viewers in there. If you watched this late, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And again, must watch this weekend. Phillies, Padres, Reds, Marlins, because that could very well determine the second National League wild card. I'll keep you posted. If anything breaks in the Watson story, I'll see what I can do. Maybe do a quick little live thing if anything major breaks in that story. But other than that, I will probably see you next week. I'm going to try and get Kyle back. He ended up being had an unexpected event come up tonight. So he was going to join me originally. Had to unfortunately back out. I want to get him back. I want to get Devin back. Yeah, I know that's shocking. Me and my rival Devin. But I am ready to get him back. So we'll see what we can do. Okay. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. It really means the world. Share it. everywhere. Like, subscribe, do all that. I'm gonna try and grow. We're back. And I'm glad that I'm able to do this live. I kind of like doing it live. And a very passionate show too. So I love you guys. Peace. Have a good rest of your week if I don't see you. And I will see you guys next week, unless, of course, anything major breaks. I'm going to see what I can do about maybe doing like quick live streams of like major breaking news. If we get Deshaun again, like a Deshaun update, if we get some crazy thing happen in preseason or in baseball or whatever. So we'll cover all of that in a future episode. But it's been about 30 minutes. I was planning on going 20. I ranted a bit and we got on 30. So got 10 extra minutes of your boy JM here on the Take That Sportscast. Take that. And we'll see you next time.